Hey, do you have your dad joke? Dad?
I
Since
do.
it's Father's Day coming up, so do you have your Father's Day
I mean, it couldn't
dad
be more
joke?
timely. Yes, I do. So
Go ahead.
lately, I've been watching a documentary on beavers.
Oh, nice.
It's the best damn show I've ever watched.
It is. Yes. That's a good one. That's a good one. Why the Scarecrow win the award?
What?
Outstanding performance.
Very nice.
Welcome to June. It's a little toasty today.
Yeah.
We were outside. Have you been golfing and doing stuff lately? Have you been? You're a golfer.
I've played a couple times the last 2 weeks. Went out with my son and my wife earlier this week. That was fun, but it was mild. Yesterday, I wore a suit to work, and just walking to the truck, I was sweating.
Yeah, we went right from like 3 days of spring to straight up summertime.
Oh yeah, it'll choke you as soon as you walk outside. Yeah,
it skipped
through.
through.
Not my thing.
So, but it is what it is. It's makes it more interesting when you're showing houses because you don't know exactly. You're trying to dress professional, but you also don't want to like make yourself a sweatbox. So it gets really, really tough. And you and I have had the conversation recently that I've moved this back into being more professional, and I stopped with the shorts and I stopped with a lot of that stuff because there was a period where I was like, yeah, screw it, it's too hot. I'm wearing a pair of shorts.
Yeah,
but
You almost want to kind of interview your client and say, what do you expect your realtor to wear? And just mold it. Because there's some that are like, I don't care. Tank top and basketball shorts doesn't matter to me.
Turn into a fashion show.
Yeah.
No, yeah. So it's, So I got a couple of pair of light pants and stuff now. So I'm moving into that route.
A lot of times I like waking up during the day and wearing stuff like this to the office. When it gets hot outside, I really regret dressing this way. It's terrible.
The real estate market. Now that we get our dad's jokes out of the way,
yeah.
We don't have a ton. Things are kind of like in a holding, wait and see what's going on type of pattern, I believe. We wanted to talk a little bit about rates in our economy, where we're at with it, but it's also fluctuating to the point where we don't want to commit to a lot of predictions.
No, I'm not going to predict anything. Actually.
No, we are going to kind of give you an idea of where we are, and I can kind of chime in with what some of my buyers are seeing. So economy, what do we got?
So yeah, you're right. It feels like there's this little bit of a lull in terms of activity. From an economic perspective, I think that's part of it. I think that there's a lot of wait and see buyers out there.
Yes.
What are they waiting for? I don't know. If they're waiting for rates to fall, good luck. If they're waiting for prices to fall, good luck. Is there a market correction going on right now? Maybe we might be seeing the beginning of it, but it's also region dependent, almost neighborhood dependent, and price dependent. There's certain pockets of prices where a home sits a little bit longer, and then other prices that are so desirable that they're going quickly. When it comes to rates, things just don't make sense right now.
Yeah.
Last night, when I saw that Israel bombed Iran, historically speaking, that's good for mortgage rates. So what happens is when there's geopolitical strife, some sort of war beginning, a lot of times the flight to safety in the market is into bonds. That didn't happen. So I woke up this morning and the bond market was flat. And since then, we're down like 23 basis points. It's completely opposite of what we normally expect when something like that happens. Why is that? It's because Iran is a big oil producer.
Okay.
So the cost of crude oil went through the roof. And that is inflationary, which means the bond market doesn't like it. So then you have, our administration trying to hammer out a deal with China when it comes to tariffs. They kind of made some concessions back and forth the other day.
It's ongoing.
Yeah, they're trying to meet halfway. It's ongoing. There's so much that's going on, and what's happening? Rates are just staying here. I mean,
kind of hold on.
Good days, bad days, good days, bad days. And generally speaking, we've been in the high sixes for what feels like 2.5 years. It's been a while.
Yep.
So anybody that's waiting for rates to fall, the market to really fluctuate to the point where it's going to become a buyer's market from a price perspective, not necessarily a negotiating perspective, but a price perspective. There's just nothing in the short term or long term that would suggest that. And the more political tension there is, the further out that's going to be anyways. And we're seeing that every single day.
Yeah.
So again, I've said time and time again,
we had our lights flickered here.
Good. I actually like this. So if
Speaking of unrest, the lights are going off. Like that's how unrestful it really is.
I don't know, do we get bombed?
No, I don't know. This is crazy.
So if you're waiting for something to happen, even when something happens, sometimes things don't happen. You know, it's crazy. It's a crazy time to be in this
interesting.
industry.
And we have our supply and demand, which is the cornerstone of all of sales. And so we have a very low supply right now with homes.
Yeah.
And so buyers are being patient because they don't want to. Lots of it. They don't want to get into a scenario where like they're overpaying dramatically, but they're probably going to. So that means they likely will have to commit to like a 5 to 7 to 10 year stay on the houses.
Yeah.
And so people are just slowing down and making more permanent decisions.
Yes.
And the rates are going to be in the sixes. So it's not causing them to just rush out and do anything. Like they're kind of just saying, hey, listen, if the right situation pops up, we'll make it work. But if it's not the exact right situation I'm looking for, we'll just wait. We'll see what's going on. That seems to be the overall feeling.
Yeah, the time of a starter home being a 2 to 3 year home, it's few and far between nowadays, unless you're really gutting that place and renovating it significantly, where you're going to build equity quickly. You know, you're right. People are having to make more long-term decisions now.
Yeah.
So we've said time and time again on this video, one of the first questions you ask, and I like to ask as well, is how long do you see yourself being in this house? And maybe we would pad that by a year or two.
Yeah. So we have clients right now that are looking like 3 to 5 years. They want to be in a nice little starter home, and then eventually want the family and they want to move up. And so we've been very, 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 very patient. There's been temptation to make bids over the comfort zone, and I've kind of scaled them back and told them I won't do that because we decided this was the top number for you. And when you look back in 5 years, you're gonna be glad that you had the patience to make that decision. So we've been looking for a while. It's not easy.
That's rare though, and to have somebody like Billy to advise you that way is unique. You're not just pushing a sale, because once you turn that spigot on to I'm looking at houses, it can consume you as a home buyer. You're looking at the listings every day. As soon as that MLS notification comes over from Billy Sammons, it's like dopamine, you know? So to have somebody like him that can put you at bay and say, listen, I don't know if it's a great idea to go above list price on a starter home that you know you want to be out of in 3 years. It's great advice. You don't get that anywhere.
No, and it's just the right thing to do because I was there, and it's just the right thing to do. Like, let's plan it together. And if you're like, hey, I want to be here for 10 years, cool, much easier decision. Because then you can do a project here and there. You've got some time to, maybe update a bathroom or do stuff. So it changes what we're looking at.
Yeah.
But if you're like, hey, 3 to 5 years, like, okay, we got to make sure we rein this thing in, and we got to make some good decisions. And if you get raises in your jobs and things later, puts you in an even better position. But right now, this is where we are, and this is where we're going to plan to be. So patience.
And also the longer term math is then on your side. I remember in 2020 when my wife and I bought the house we're in now, which we will be in for a long, long time. She was concerned at the price we paid then.
Yeah.
And I heard her. I kind of said, listen, this is our forever home.
Yeah.
If we even bought above list price,
we have time.
We have time to pay down our principal and get ourselves in a good position. So the shorter time frame gives you maybe I don't want to say risk. It's not the right word, but you do have to be a little bit more calculated that way versus a 10 to 15 year home. Yeah. You're going to pay down your principal over time, and the fluctuations in the market, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. I mean, go out and ask a boomer right now. What can you lose money on the market? And a lot of these boomers just have been in their houses since the 70s, 80s.
Yeah.
How are they sitting?
Pretty nice.
2006
to 2010, we kind of have to throw that window out because there were so many factors and it was craziness then. But we're kind of protected from that amount of time where the mortgage guidelines are so much more stringent. We're lending to really qualified individuals.
Yeah.
The market is stable, we're not building a ton, so we don't have this inverse operation of too much inventory. We don't have enough. So I would throw that window out. So go prior to that, again, like you said, the boomers that have been in their house for forever, they just, some of them own their houses free and clear, and they're sitting on, that's a lot of their net worth is in their house. And then the people that have bought in 2016, 17, 18 that are now looking to sell that house, I mean, they have a ton of equity. But the sell buy sometimes becomes a little bit problematic if you don't pull out one of the stops, meaning a bridge loan, or go ahead and sell and move in with family for a little while. The home contingent offer
is really tough right now.
Very tough.
It's tough right now, but you have options.
Yeah. It's
Even
not
Eli,
impossible, it's just tough.
he's got to strategize. And if you're making that jump from a smaller house to the bigger house, or even a bigger house down to a small, whatever your decision is, there's a reason why they're doing it. They don't do it just for fun. You got to kind of overlook that little pain point.
Yeah.
you gotta keep your eye on the prize. Like, all right, this was the goal. This is why we're doing it, because there's going to be inconveniences to it. Like, I don't want to sugarcoat that.
I mean, I have close personal friends who are bursting at the seams of their house. They not enough bedrooms or bathrooms or what have you, and it's. And I understood early on, which is, let's just wait for this craziness to go down. Rates are high and prices are up and stuff, and now they're 3 years into waiting, and you can only live a certain way for so long without having to expand your square footage, or the opposite.
Yep.
So if you're chasing the idea of the square footage that you need, or the garage that you need, or the yard that you want, that's where we sit down and we go, how can we make that achievable? Okay. And you might have to stretch yourself a little bit, but how can we make that achievable?
That's it. We don't have much for you today.
Yeah.
We have a little pep talk about buying. We got a little pep talk about the economy. But really, it's just me sitting down. If you think this is the right time for you, just sit down with one of us and asking a bunch of questions. That's really what it comes down to, because we've covered all the topics in these videos over the last 3-4 months. We've covered everything that's happening. And if you really have interest in this, if you think buying's in your future, it's going to be a sit-down conversation.
I'll leave you with this. I get the question all the time, where do you think rates are going to go? And I made the mistake earlier on in my career, and it's just regurgitating things that I read, of kind of postulating. And now I refuse to do it, because there's a line in The Big Short, where the guy goes, none of this makes sense. It's like 2 + 2 = fish. So like a night like last night, as I said, we were expecting to wake up to a good bond market day, and it went the opposite direction. So because there's so many more factors than historically we've seen. So if you're going to ask me where rates are going to go, I'm just going to say they're going to stay the same, because it really is probably that's the case.
They'll be in the 6s until you buy your house.
Yeah, right.
And then when you go to find a house you like, we will rerun the numbers. And that's the other thing, you can run numbers. So if you find the house you like, if you're somebody who's like, I'm not sure I can do this, pick a house you see online that you like. You can sit down with Tim. He'll run numbers on that specific house. You don't have to go see it. Be like, hey, listen, I saw this house in blah, blah, blah street in Huntingtown.
Yeah.
This is the kind of thing I really want to do. Tim, what would it take for me? You can even work backwards like that. I see a lot of people like to do it that way because it's tangible.
Mm-hmm.
If that works for you, whatever.
It's a menu of options. It's not, hey, what's the rate and the payment? Well, if I gave you one option, I'm pigeonholing you into something that I've decided for you. I don't do that. It's a menu. Here's if you want to put 3%, 5%, 10% down, no money down. Here's if you want to buy down the rate. Here's if you get a gift. Here's if you pay off a debt. If you have a $500 auto loan payment and you have 10 grand left on it, I say, why don't you pay that off, free up $500 a month that you can put towards your.
Yep.
So listen, it's a menu of options. That's why you come to me rather than using a mortgage calculator you find online.
Or the Zillow. The Zillow one doesn't do any good either. No. Don't listen to that stupid thing.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. That's it. So that's the market update. That there really is an update. There's just more information for you to help me make the decisions.
Yeah.
If you're still on the fence, let us know. We can sit down and chat with you. If you're not on the fence, just keep watching these videos, because we keep going over the information you need to educate yourself, to get the answers you need to know what you want to do next. So,
and happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
Father's Day.
Our lame Father's Day jokes, or dad jokes this week.
We should have done better.
We should have. We set the bar too low for ourselves. Thank you very much for everybody. Have a great summer, and we'll see you in July. Okay, it's crazy saying that. July. That's the next one. That's our next video.
Jeez.
July.
See you guys.
See you.